This is the worst.
Yeah, this pretty much sums up my thoughts on the episode as a whole. Professor Utonium and the girls are walking down the sidewalk when they suddenly see Pokio's kindergarten closed. Flashback to a scene where Bubbles has her old design back and some of the original students are seen, like Harry Pitt and Mitch Mitchelson and Elmer's Glue and so on. She spills an alien substance onto the hamster and that causes him to grow so big that he destroys the school, thus explaining the reason for its destruction. Can we just stick to this old design for the rest of the series, please? I've seen some people complain that they call the hamster Pee-wee instead of Twiggy, but if you consider the fact that Twiggy probably never returned to normal after the end of getting Twiggy with it, it would technically be an entirely new hamster. Oh my god, did I just offend this show? The professor shows them their new school, but then promptly leaves them to it. Wait, don't they already go here? We saw them here in Princess Buttercup before, so I'm guessing the airing order changed again. My real question is, why do they keep changing the order like this? And if they aren't changing the order, why are they so inconsistent? The girls head in and they're immediately bullied by all the older kids, which I think is total bullshit. They're disrespecting their town's saviors. You can't tell me they don't know who the Powerpuff Girls are, considering they save the day every freaking week. Back at home, the girls complain to the professor that they want to be older, and he tries to convince them otherwise. However, they throw a giant temper tantrum like a bunch of brats until the professor finally gives in. I'm sorry, I don't recall the girls ever acting like spoiled kids before. Aside from Child Fearing where they did it to Mojo on purpose, they've never acted this way. Dance Pants doesn't count, it was made by a different team. The professor creates a formula to slightly age them, and the girls have a bit before they go to sleep. They don't think it's working, so they decide to sneak downstairs to have some more. When they wake up the next morning, they're really, really, really old. Of course, the professor doesn't care and sends them to school anyways while he attempts to work on an antidote. The kids make fun of the girls at first, but they quickly begin to lighten up to them after the girls give them things and tell stories. The professor is seen in his lab working on the antidote when it suddenly turns into this giant monster. Of course, the show cuts back to the girls so quickly that I forgot it even happened until my second viewing. Mojo is walking the dog and talking to his mother on the phone. They see each other and start to attack, but due to the girls' age, they obviously don't get anywhere. Back to the professor again. The evil beast suddenly starts playing patty cake.
That was so funny, I forgot to laugh.
Mojo robs the bank and proceeds to hit the girls with his car. However, the girls stop him and cause him to go flying out of it until Bubbles decides to wrap him up in a cushion because we don't want to see him being brutally injured now, do we? The professor comes by with the beast and gives them the antidote, and so they return to normal. The end. Man, continuity was just thrown right out of the window here. The show implies that this is a direct continuation due to the flashback sequence, but as I recall, kids only go to kindergarten for 1 year here in the United States, which is where the show is made. Why are they going back a second time? I get they never left in the original, but the first words to come out of the narrator's mouth are,
"Aw, it's the first day of school."
There's no reason for these kids to bully the Powerpuff Girls. They act like spoiled brats. Mojo lacks the comedy that made him funny in the original. The list goes on. What is the point of this monster thing? It literally adds nothing to this episode. If you take it out, there'd be no difference. It explains why I never even remember him being in this episode in the first place. Man Up may have had a terrible villain, and Bye Bye Bellum may have had a poor write-off, but this takes the cake as the worst episode of the show yet. All of these problems create a colossal mess that the writers really can't get themselves out of. Just don't watch this episode.
You're old. Groaning like a geezer.